bias, are we? They're all Kiwis. You can see we're predominantly Kiwi. You know what? There needs to be more Kiwi shit. Fox Sports, there's not like Benji's on there. Channel 9, is there any Kiwis?
You got Corey Parker bagging Tomalolo's contract.
Yeah. So if you get in the comments and you're bagging us to being predominantly Kiwi, we fucking are. We're waving the flag for the Kiwis in the island. What's up, YKTR Sports Nation? Welcome back into the Body Science Content Studio. I'm your host, joined as always by the boys, Skipper Scope, what's up, baby, and the boss, Isaac John. Desi, Dan Carter behind us too.
Have a good show, Des.
Before we rip in, guys, we do this every week and it is important. It helps us support the platform, support the boys. If you enjoy the content, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. It does mean a lot. We really appreciate everyone who has jumped on and done so far.
Fucking hit that subscribe, fuck you.
Big show. Obviously, we had a massive week of trials. Before we rip in, we did have the pleasure, the honour of catching up with YKTR Sports' very own Brandon Hectic Smith Cheese. Here it is.
Hectic Smith Cheese.
Hectic Smith Cheese. Hectic Cheese Smith. Check it out.
All right, guys, first guest of the year.
Just the vape sauce.
No vapes, bro. That's a pen. That's just like I just suck on that to get through it. It's just like I don't know what that is. I don't want to say. Getting straight into it. I don't know if you've been watching footy, especially with your round one opponent. You're playing the West Tigers. There seems to be a little cheese clone that's popping up around the West Tigers. I don't know if you've seen him. His name is Rua Natikora. Is that right? Natikora. Have you seen him yet? Have you done video on him yet? And what's your thoughts on the Kitty's cheese?
Yeah, no, I've seen him. I watched every single trial game this week.
Yeah, how good is it, eh?
And last week. It's been unreal, but... Yeah, I've seen him. I'm thinking about growing a little ratty like him. So. He's actually pretty good. Like, I don't mind him as a player, and I've heard that a few of his boys that he's actually a pretty good player. So, look forward to it. Hopefully, he wants to play for New Zealand and he can help me out, punch 80 minutes out for me and the Kiwis team.
Little cheese on cheese double rolling into the Aussies.
Yeah, a little double
good.
cheese. I like it. Steak and double cheese. All right, so rolling into your last year at Melbourne. Obviously, a few of the boys are starting to leave now. Got the Bromwich boys leaving. Kafusi's off as well. Has there been conversations, and is it kind of giving you like the last dance vibes from the Chicago Bulls? Have you guys been talking about this, looking around to each other and going, yo, this could be our last chance to play together? How's it looking?
Yeah, that's exactly what it feels like. I think the two Bromwich boys, they're really taking it in a lot, and they've been training their asses off. They've been, especially Jesse in training, he's been going harder. So I'm hoping that it's a big season, and definitely a lot of the boys are upset that we're all leaving. But it's like, yeah, let's send out these big dogs on a high. So yeah. Hopefully we can get the win, but we're definitely training a lot harder than we did in previous years, just because I guess that failure is always going to sit there in the back of your head from last year. So yeah, I think a lot of the boys are really focused this year, and I hope we get the win.
Just on Cheese, we're about to do we'll go through some of our players, and I'm just hearing Ice talk about Jesse in particular. I know Kenny's been there for a minute too and been a part of the rebuild system, but is Jesse one of the more slept on, underrated key members of the Melbourne Storm franchise for you? Considering what he's done, he was a premier front rower for 10 years, and then when you look at a guy like that leaving the club, the sort of attributes that he'll bring to a club like Redcliffe rebuilding it.
Yeah, Jesse, he doesn't talk much unless he's making fun of you, but on the field, he's one guy that you can't really replace, and he's just so good at using his mouth on the field and just directing players around, and he's definitely not got that reputation as that sort of player. He's the hard man or the bully, the enforcer of the team, but he's more finesse really on the field. He can just organize the whole team, and he really helps the young fellas in the ruck just get through their job without having to think too much. And yeah, he's one of the best players to have around in a club. And I'm going to be sad to leave him. Me and him are pretty close. We hung out a lot, and yeah, it's sad to see him leave. But I know he's putting his best foot forward at the moment, and like he won 3 Player of the Years in a row with Cooper, Billy, and Cameron Smith.
Yeah, that's crazy.
At the team in the Melbourne Storm.
But I'm not. It's
So
crazy,
that's
but I'm
kinda
not
how-
surprised. Yeah, sorry, mate.
Yeah, and he won them in a row, and that's like how highly regarded he is at this club.
Yeah.
So he might not get the accolades and that outside the field, but outside by the media and stuff like that. But in this club, he's regarded as one of the best. He made the team of the decade, just recently passed. So he's definitely one of my favourite players to play with, and I hope we can go and send him away with a bang.
All right, last question from us, bro. I know you got to get off the training. The Prez, how is he? Obviously got a new hairdo, looking a little bit trim. He looks a little bit weird skinny, eh, Scope? I don't know if I like him skinny. You want their mutters back.
He looks like a
Yeah. Go Cheese.
He's a fully reformed man, eh?
Yeah.
Like just the best, like always willing to do something. Like he was already like that. He was already like always willing to do something, but now he's just like taking it to another level. Like he's just that like overly kind person. Like just
It's
too
too much.
nice.
Yeah,
Like now he's that guy.
Yeah.
And like but like nothing about him's changed. Like all that's changed is obviously he doesn't drink and stuff, but he's still an idiot. Still doesn't doesn't think about what he's saying before it comes out. Like just fully ADHD child. But we're loving him, and he's absolutely destroyed this preseason. Like he's beaten like everyone in the all the fitness tests, like beat Harry and everything, which is crazy. So I might put some money on him to win Dally M.
Oh yeah, well you would have been able to, but you can't. That's what I would have been. So I've got him down as my Daily M as well that we're going to be able to do on the sports show after this, Cheese. But you can't bet on that anymore, which sucks. But I've got a little Daily M challenge for you. It's not so a question. You won Daily M hooker of the last year. You look to be predominantly playing lock now that Dale's moved on and Harry was playing there. Even when they had Wishart and Garlic, I don't think a player has ever won Daily M position of the award in different positions in back-to-back years. I don't even know if it's been done in different positions. So little challenge from YKTR Sports. If you end up playing lock for the most of the year, there you go, brother. Lock, you're going to get hooker 1 year, Daily M lock of the year 2. How about that?
I'll do my best. I got my interchange player of the year over there.
Oh, he's got that one as well.
Yeah.
Have they got the?
Yeah.
Oh, it's cool. Fucking oath. So,
All
right, bro. Cheese.
I'm looking. That's definitely the goal, but I just gotta keep my head down for a little bit.
That's it. Rip in. All the best, brother.
All the best for the year,
right,
Cheese,
thanks,
and all the
boys.
best at training. See you later, brother.
Thanks, bro.
Top, bro.
Just a little quick one before we move on to that, Jacko. I asked him a question at the end. It was with regards to has a player ever won the Daily M Position Award?
Yeah.
You'll see it at the back end of the interview. I was trying to look and see if someone had won it. So maybe the one that stands out is maybe a back rower who's won lock before. I can see that happening, or a lock that's played front row. But if Cheese was to win hooker,
It's the same position almost, that one there.
hooker and lock?
Nah, lock and back row.
yeah,
Let
that's
us
what
know
I
in
mean.
the comments below.
Yeah, please let me know because I was trying to search for it.
Our 10-second Safari search turned over nothing, but I reckon
Cheese is a big chance.
Cheese a big chance. Did Tamalolo didn't do it? Front
Yeah, I
row?
feel like Tamalolo might have.
Anyway.
We'll see in the comments, see if we get it back.
See if we get it back. Has anyone ever gone back-to-back Dally M Team of the Year, different positions? Let us know. All right, moving on. Obviously, massive week of trials. Pretty much every side named their full-strength teams that went out there. We've got 3 of the best. Scope sort of wants to touch on a lot of other topics as well because he's... You watch a lot of footy over the weekend.
Yeah, I watch
Let's
some
go.
footy, yeah. It's good for one of us to watch
Too
some footy.
wet. Yeah, I've been watching.
Okay.
What did you make of the week's trials, Scope, and what stood out for you overall?
No, we'll get to the points I reckon you want to get to, Jacko.
Yeah.
And if there's anything I missed, I'll come in right at the end and also we'll tick off some points. So I think we're going to get to a few of the games anyway that we're going to talk about. I've got a lot of Dragon stuff here on Sloaney and Telltale and Moan again. Very impressive. So do you want to just roll on it? And then
Cool, mate.
if there's anything you missed at the end, I think's worth noting, we'll go into that.
Yeah, well, listen, we picked 3 games that sort of stood out for us. The big one, ice off the jump, was obviously Parramatta shutting out the Panthers 36-0 as Lukey smirks over there behind the camera. Sort of no one really expected that. It wasn't exactly the red-hot, full-strength Panthers side, but what did you make of the Paras showing?
I still think trials matter. I know everyone sort of says they're trials, they don't really matter. But like if you're going into trainings and they're bad trainings, coaches care about that. They'll come out and say, I don't really care about trials, but this is kind of I don't think it was as bad for Panthers as the score suggests, but it's a great sign for the Eels. I thought Dylan Brown was elite. I think he's really coming into his own. I think he adds that little ball playing aspect to his game as well. But I thought Makahisi Makatoa was really good.
Yeah,
someone I've played with in the past. He's one of those feel-good stories.
Where did you play with him?
He's Cook Island.
Oh,
yeah,
of
so he's
course,
from Taranaki, but he played at Mounties when I was there as well. So he was in the Canberra system.
The Naki.
Yeah. Doesn't mind a little bender too back in the day. So yeah, he's one of us.
Yeah.
But he had a really good game, scored 2 tries, ran a tough line off that Regan Campbell-Gillard. But yeah, Eels, they basically had a perfect preseason.
Yeah.
They've got all their troops back. They've had a couple good trials and they're ready to roll into round 1. So I thought they were really good.
It was obviously no Nath, but it was still a pretty strong
enough
side. Strong enough to not get smacked 36-0.
Yeah, strong enough to not get nilled and strong enough to not leak 36 points. So I know Ivan's looking at that and he's more worried about the 36 than the nil because he's a defensive first coach. So but I'm not reading too much into that. If this was the scoreline round 1, I'd be a little bit more worried. But yeah, they're rolling into a Manly side that's had a few injuries as well. They've tried the new trial technique where they've loaded up all their teams and they're missing a couple players as well. So that's sort of the risk that you take. And saying that, I wouldn't mind the small. I'd rather get injured in a trial than round 1.
Yeah.
Because you're 2 weeks ahead of
another trial. Yeah.
Yeah, you miss another trial. So I wouldn't be worried too much if I was the Panthers. They're going to be rolling out Thursday night. The whole rugby league community is going to be watching. They're going up against Manly, against Tommy Turbo. They're already doing video on that.
Yeah.
It's at Penrith, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
So the bell's going. They're going to be running out. The boys going to be pumped. So it's going to be a packed stadium. I think they'll be cool.
Scope, what do you make of your alma mater?
Well, they should fucking be worrying about the Bird Gang because the Bird Gang's coming to they're coming to Western Sydney.
They look clunky, bro.
Exactly. So Desi got that clunk out. That would have been the first 4 rounds of the season in the trials. A little bit clunky, but
Jack Whiten put a clinic on him.
What, threw 2 intercepts, dropped the ball, and they went the distance. Hey, you fuck up against the Bird Gang, they'll take it to the house, baby. They'll take it to the fucking house. But let's wait for the Bird Gang. I want to talk about Penrith straight off the bat. I'd say they're the champs, right?
Yep.
So it's very hard to knock the champs. But I will say one thing that stood out in this game, and it happened last year. When Nath missed games for him, they looked very clunky. You're talking about clunky. Even with Matty Burton and Jerome Luai, during those games that they were winning through the part of the season that Nath was out, they weren't winning by much. They even dropped a couple of games throughout that period. I think it shows how important Nath's become in particular. We talk about this is still a really good young roster, all these young players that are coming through Penrith, but without their guy, like most teams, without Tommy Turbo last year that makes it all work for Manly, I think obviously Nath's become that. He's missing his co-skipper as well, and Isaiah Yell. That's a big out because he controls the middle. He frees up Nath. So when Nath's looking around and he starts organising with Jerome where they're going to attack, Isaiah's just doing those nice little tip-ons through the middle. Then they had a few more outs, but it just really stood out for me. And then
Fisher Harris either.
Fisher Harris as well. Yeah. Like, so their generals, like their leaders are out, like through the middle. So that obviously plays a part. But we'll just see. With Para, it's nice for Para, but once again, I've talked about this with trials. I don't put too much into it. I'm just more looking at sort of what happened when Nath was out last year. Bit of a trickle effect into the trials where they don't look as sharp against a team that they would probably like to play better against. Like, I know it's only a trial, but it's the last trial going into it. You probably would have wanted to see more from Jerome and Sullivan in particular to make sure that they're steering the ship around. And
that's important,
Big duck egg is not a good sign.
That's important because Nath's going to be out for Origin. So there's a good chance Jerome's going to be out also. That's kind of a reflection of how they're going to be looking during the Origin period.
Yeah,
so pretty interesting.
Remember, they were undefeated rolling into Origin last year until the boys went out. So you raised a good point. What about just Parramatta scope in terms of standouts? Anyone really jump out in that game from Parramatta for you?
I thought across the board, one of my biggest concerns has been with the Parramatta forward pack. You talked about Campbell Gillard having a nice little tip on to Makatoa. And I've been critical of that in the past. When you're flowing in these sorts of games, once you see they went straight through the guts of, they had a nice little couple of plays to the outside, but once they did that, they played really direct and went through them. And then all of a sudden, fucking Makatoa goes underneath in the middle of the post untouched, and you look at it and go, fuck, that's soft defense. But they earned the right for that first. So I don't mind it when they ball play, but you've got to earn the right to do it. And I thought Parramatta did that. They physically won the battle. They played the conditions. They kicked well. And they just really gave it to Penrith. And then in the back end, they were able to get, secure some chocolates with some nice little pretty passes that, like I said, look, if you, as a Panthers fan, you're looking at it going, fuck, that's soft. But It was a combination effect of the way that they played early in that game to get to that point.
It is disheartening when they come through the middle of your pack as well. And like, obviously we see beautiful tries and it gets scored in the corner and people diving over. But those ones through the middle, like, they hurt. And because Fords are like proud people, so they're tough. They want to be known as tough people. If someone just comes straight through the middle and runs over the top of you or through you, like, it's kind of embarrassing. And then you got two lippy halves coming in from both sides going, what the fuck are you guys doing? That was the worrying sign. They're going through him.
You touched on Dylan Brown. I just wanted to say as well, he I mean, I don't know, maybe it's just because you haven't seen him in a minute, but he does look physically a lot stronger.
He's a big dude, bro.
He's deceptively big, eh?
Yeah,
and obviously everyone knows he's quick, but yeah, he looked elite.
Like, when I first met him, I was like, shit, he's a lot bigger than I thought he was. Like, he's almost like probably like a little bit shorter than normal, but obviously built out as well.
Was it
and
you or
rapid.
someone mentioned last year about the possibility of him playing in the centres? Like, he could easily
do that, but he's a 5'8".
Yeah.
He's a 5'8". And like, he talked about on the podcast when he jumped on is like, good things seem to happen when he's in teams, and he's not, I don't think he's the number one playmaker on that side. I still think it has to be Mitch Moses if they're going to do anything, but he's a great number 2, bro. Great. He doesn't need to touch the ball all the time to have an impact on it. He can run the ball, he can pass the ball, he can kick a ball as well. And he's just chill, bro. He's like laid back. So when the games get bigger, he's just nice and calm, runs out, poking fucking tongues at the cameras and stuff like that. It's a good balance to have, because you see someone like Mitchy Moses, who's like a little bit more like wired up and like he's footy, and like he wants to be that. I think Dill Brown's the perfect number 2 for him. Balance. And I talked about this with Nathan Cleary a while ago. Like, Nathan Cleary's a gun, but Jerome was like the bullet that he needs to roll through. I think Dill Brown can be that for Mitch.
Love that. All right, and moving on, the other big one, speaking of getting 30 put on you, the Sharks showed out in their first outing, absolutely smacked the Jordan Simi-less Bulldogs. Still waiting for that call, doggies. What did you make of that game, Ice? Obviously, Cronulla, all eyes were on them with their new recruits, Finucane, Nico, all the boys. What did you make of Cronulla?
They look tough.
Yeah.
They looked good as a unit. I think their attack was beautiful. I think they get a bunch of different options. I think Matty Moreland still comes back into him. The thing I really like about the Sharks that has given me Melbourne vibes is they got 3 quality fullbacks in Matt Moreland, Nico Hines, and Will Kennedy. And why that's important is because when you got a big forward pack and they're trying to go through, your Royce Hunts, who's the dude taking it off the back fence.
Yeah, I'll forget his name.
Yeah, so those types of guys there, what they do is they create second phase offload. So they might get that off to like a Will Kennedy who might break the line, get tackled. And then because Nico Hines and Matt Moreland are just natural footballers, they can combine it and link up as well. So Nico Hines, they might get a break through the middle. Moyes might recognise that the shape's on the right. So he'll swing to the right. All Nico Hines needs to do is just set him up a 3-on-2. And you can do that either way, where Matt Moreland could be first receiver out the back to Nico, or Nico could be first receiver out the back to either or. And you can strip 3-on-2s. And you've seen it with Melbourne last year. They had so much beautiful attack that they were just kind of walking tries over from a distance as well. So the thing I liked about the Sharks was their attack. It was like beautiful. And then obviously defense, they're tough, they're strong. They've always been a tough club.
That's sort of in their
They
DNA,
love that. They say that it's in the DNA. And obviously you want to see Wade obviously come off like a little bit early. Hopefully he's still good, but it just looked like a professional like last trial. It looked like a Roosters or Melbourne back in the day when they rock out, put your 30 on, cruise out, no one gets injured.
I found it like really poignant. Like Moyes was in the office last week, and you remember like what he was saying just about the feeling of that team, and like you never know how much weight to put on that because everyone's
saying that.
Everyone's had a mad preseason, but like you hear what he says, and then you see how they performed and how they ran out. I think that the Fitzy effect is pretty much. It's there already. Like,
I didn't think Dale Finucane had the best game, but like just his presence in the game made like those people around him better. Yeah. And I always say like good halfbacks make the players around him better. Man, we talked about off air, like 13 is almost one of the most important positions in the game right now. And there's different ways you can be 13. They can be like the passing and all that sort of stuff. But if you're that tough cunt in the middle as well, people want to get around, it's just as important.
Scope, what'd you make of the Sharkies?
I just want to touch on what he said about Finucane. I thought one of the bits that stood out in the coverage was Cooper Cronk talking about Finucane's best work. As good as he is as a footy player, his work's going to be done from fucking Monday to Friday with his actions at training and the way he leads them around, and that not only with him. Say, he's skipper in the team. If I'd imagine if Wado was out, I don't know what the co-captaincy would be like that. But if you've got a leader like Dale Finucane and Craig Fitzgibbon, if anyone's watched Fitzy's for some of the younger guys, if you haven't watched Craig Fitzgibbon play. It's the fucking way the Sharks played against the Bulldogs. No nonsense, line speed, trying to bash people, didn't overcomplicate it, still had a few nice touches. Me and you talked about who had the better off-season out of the Bulldogs and the Sharks. I think I won that. I'll take that early dub, 30-6.
Was I Dogs?
Yes, you were, sorry.
Oh, no. It's
keeps
just like your
receipts.
Raiders take beauty. But no, the jokes aside, it was really impressive from the Sharks. He talked a lot about the Sharks. Do you want me to touch on the Dogs?
Yeah, continue. Yeah.
They're the opposite. They look like they're rudderless at the moment. We've talked about it. For me, it has to be Burton. For me, it doesn't really matter who they put at 7. Averill is obviously a fucking great. He's a solid first grader, and he's in the 7 role. And there's a lot of pressure with that, but it has to be Burton. Burton's been brought in to be that guy. He doesn't. From the outside looking in, he doesn't seem to be that player at the moment. But he has to develop it, and he has to take this team by the scruff of its neck because. They stroll up the field. They're not too bad. They'll get up the footy field and they've got some powerful outside backs. They've got just looking at them on paper and when you see them out on the field, their middles just look big and strong and fit. Especially their front row combination, Hetherington, Thompson, Paul Vaughan, just looks really good in the jersey.
Bit of aggression in that.
Yeah, they're like aggression, but. They're just not finishing them off. They're not coming up with the right plays. They connected a couple of times early on. Obviously, fucking Matty Burton goes over for that try. I think they might even they could have scored another one a little bit earlier, but just the finesse wasn't in it. And it'll come. I know it's only early days. It's only trials again, but for me, the thing that stood out is Burton. He's like a laid back, cruisy sort of fucking character. I think he needs to take more of it because. From what he's done already, I know he's only new to the game and he played a handful of footy games. The boys, I think, look to him and a lot of the players would respect him enough to go, all right, you're our guy. Take the team by the scruff of his neck and let's do something with this team because there's plenty of talent around there. They're just a bit rudderless for me at the moment.
I think just before you go, Ice, because you'll be able to speak to this better than me, but the halves thing that Scope brings up there, I tend to agree, and that's the reason I would have gone with Flanagan over Averillo in the 7 jumper, just because I don't think Burton is, like you mentioned the 1 and 2, Dill Brown and Mitchie Moses. I still think Burton's just an elite 2 at the moment. I agree he has to be a 1.
Done, man.
But yeah,
I don't
know.
know. Flano, come on. He was on in garbage time on his fucking last trial. I don't care what fucking what's been said around that camp. And this is not my opinion. I don't mind Flano come on here.
Yeah.
But I'm just talking about watching it from an outsider's in. He's not getting a chance.
Yeah.
Those are shit minutes when you want to get rid of a player, like when you chuck him on like that. That's my opinion. I played plenty of them. That's why I know.
Yeah, 100%. That's when you know. I get that as well. But then it'll be like me trying to say I'm about to fire someone pretty soon. I'm not going to give him more responsibility. Hey, go do this role. Yeah. So he's getting classic smoked out. It happens all the time. Happens to me a couple of times. So I know it when I see it. But yeah, I'm with Scope, man. They need a 7. We talked about their 3-part attack as well, where I thought they were going to change that, but they obviously haven't. Baz still wants to stick with it. And it is a great attacking system. If you've got a Nathan Clear, if you've got a Daly Cherry Evans, if you've got a Jonathan Thurston running that middle part of it, and Averillo's under the pump at the moment. And it's a hard system to play. I'll probably try and break it down in a shape one time so people will know what I'm talking about, because it's kind of hard to understand. But yeah. When you sorry, you go. Yeah, if you're still going, I was just going to give him an example for when it happened to me, and I knew it was coming with regards to Flano after you. Yeah, so like I said, trials still matter, and what coaches say, they when they talk about it, they'll be like, trials, they'll say the score doesn't matter, but I still want to see what we're implementing on the training field, in a real game situation against people that aren't your teammates as well. So the thing I was worried about it is the attack looked clunky, but they were leaking points as well. There's 2 parts of the game.
That's what the Dogs did last year. Yeah.
If they had one of them was all right, so say if it was a 30 to 20, our attack's all right, we just need to zone in on our D.
Yeah.
They're leaking points and they're not able to fucking get them back as well. So attack needs tweaking for sure. Defense was a little bit leaky, but like I said, very early on when the preseason started, is they walk into a place that's got no culture over the course of the history they have, but right now they walk into a damaged relationship.
Yeah.
And they walk into a relationship without trust.
Rocky foundation to start.
Rocky. And they're going to have to try and build that trust. It's like going into a relationship with someone that's been cheating on in the past. You're going to have to build that trust up over time. And when I was looking at the huddle and I heard Cooper Cronk talking about it, there's one guy that was speaking up, and it was Josh Adokar.
Yeah.
And he's your winger and he's vocal and he's a premiership winner and he's a guy, but
he goes back to the wing, man.
Yeah, he goes back to the wing. No, wingers are important, don't get me wrong, but you start looking around, who's the guy? Who's the guy we're looking at? And I know if Sharks are under the post, I know exactly who's fucking talking.
fucking
Dale Finucane.
Yeah.
Right now, they don't have it. It's a shaky. Like someone once told me, staying in a relationship without trust is like sitting in the car without the keys. You can stay in it for as long as you want, but you ain't going anywhere. So you got to build trust there, and trust takes time.
He's got some good ones. Hey, he's got some good ones.
He's got a few.
Clip that, Lukey.
Yeah, I'll give you the example. Like, this is why I know I'm looking at from the Flano situation. After playing a couple of good years at Manly, 13, 14, 2015, I could feel myself on the outer. Like,
you can feel it, bro.
You can feel it at trainings. You're not getting mixed in as much. In the last trial of 2015, Twos chucked me on with 10 minutes to go. And, like, I'd been a starter. And then, mind you, fucking Watmo had moved on. He'd gone to Para. Glenn Stewart had gone to the Rabbitohs. I was like, oh, fuck, this is my opportunity to lead in the forwards. And then I got put on with 10 minutes to go in the trial. I didn't get a shot that year. I ended up finishing the year, but it was only because Manly were going awful at the start of the year that I ended up getting a run. It took me like 10 weeks to get back in the team. I had to play a lot of reserve grade. So I know exactly what it means when you get put in that position. So I don't mean to, take the piss out of Flano for getting on in that garbage time, but that's just reality. Like, that's the feeling I got. I was watching that. I think they even chucked the little backup hooker on before him as well.
Yeah, they did, yeah.
So that's it's not a good sign, man.
Do you want to hear my smoked out stories?
Yeah, go on.
The Wakey special.
Yeah.
So, like, it was my last year there. Train my ass off with killing it and everything. And it was our last trial, but we didn't put our first team out. And I was on the bench of the second team, and he goes, "Oh, I don't really see you as a half. I'm going to play you at hooker off the bench."
Nothing more disrespectful to a half.
As a half. So we're playing in Doncaster. It starts snowing. I'm sitting on the bench till 76 minutes. He puts me on for the last 4 minutes. First tackle, snap my finger, and it had it's called like a mallet finger.
Yeah.
Like you snap the ligament, so it just hangs down like that. Last 4 minutes, and then like 2 days later, I was on a plane to Penrith. So I don't like that dude, man. He's a bad vibe.
Out.
Richard A. We were talking about this on the so Richard Agar's the coach that got rid of me, like made my life hell. Yeah. But he's coaching Leeds at the moment in Element 3.
Oh, yes. Love that. Yeah, just lastly on the Dogs before we move off, the thing that I saw, I don't watch footy through the same lens as you guys, just as a fan watching it. To me, they're still making the same errors. Their error count was, I think they were 6-1 at one point, and then the second half was even worse. They make the same errors coming out of their own end as they did last year. And it's not, it's not necessarily the same players, but your Hetheringtons and Tavitas who are all aggression, all effort, they end up pushing it because they're down and they, you know what I mean?
That's when it gets hard. When it's not the same guy making the error all the time, because sometimes that's a simple fix. If someone keeps fucking up, you just go, all right, it's not working for him. Let's bring in someone else. But what happens is you start playing in teams like that, and this is how it can have a snowball effect. But it's only trial, so I'm not overreacting on this. But what happens in those situations is when it's like, fuck, it's Ice this week. Next week it's Jacko. Week after that it's Lukey fucking up. Like, you start going, you're waiting for it. It's like, oh, here we go. Something's going to happen. Anytime something like, even when you're flowing good, you're like, who's going to fuck it up for us? That's that's what happens in shit teams, right?
That's what happens.
That's what happens in shit teams. And then when you're in the good teams, it's opposite. Like, you're flowing, you're rolling against a team, and in your mind, you're playing a team, and you're going, they're going to fuck up soon. That's the difference between good and bad teams for me.
We're waiting for it. We're waiting for you to get into scrums when they knock it on. We knew it was coming.
Yeah, we'll defend the line fucking 3 sets in a row for Manly, knowing Tigers will fucking drop the ball here. Like, they'll give it back to us, or they'll do something. And even if they score, like, we'll go, that's all right, we can grind these cunts out. Like, that's the different mindsets between winning and losing teams.
Fucking oath it is, Scope.
Speaking of winning teams, the Charity Shield dub, the Dragons finally break, I think it was 8 years, 7-year drought, something like that.
I think
could
10, maybe.
10 years. It was a long time. Either way, they got the dub, they win the Charity Shield. They actually looked all right. So Souths obviously without the Wayne Bennett and Reynolds and Cody Walker sort of running the show now exclusively, they still looked all right. But Ice, what'd you make of the Dragons getting the dub in that one?
Yeah, like, I know we're saying trials don't matter, but I think those little ones do. Like, especially when there's a Charity Shield on the line, there's a bit of history and you're getting pumped for the last 10 years and you go down to those country towns and sort of play. I think it was good and it gives them confidence, much like Parramatta. Like, they'll be rolling into round one a lot more confident than they have probably over the past couple of years. And I just thought they looked good. Their shape was good. I thought Sloan was good out the back. Amone was good. I know Scope wants to touch on him as well. And on the other side of it, I thought, like, a little bit clunky as well. Like, obviously, Adam Reynolds, who's been your staple half for the past 10 years, leaves. I thought Cody Walker was super nice. Like, he does a lot more of the kicking. Beautiful left boot. Good things seem to happen in and around him, but still can get caught up in a bit of a niggle as well with Jaden Sewer. So that's just him. You can't change that, but he's still one of our elite playmakers. A little bit concerned for South, say.
Yeah, Ilias with a nice little 20-40, but he sort of struggled to work his way into the game, which, it'll come. He's fucking young.
It takes time. It takes time, but I thought Yeah, I was bagging the Dragons early on in the year. Like they're going to get pumped this year, but I think they're going to be all right. I still see them as a 9 to 12 side.
Yeah.
But man, exciting future for the boys.
They could fuck around and make the 8. I'm being encouraged for what I've seen. Yeah. What do you make of the
the
Field
8?
scope?
Make the 8?
I think they could, yeah.
Nah.
They look all right.
I just want to retract something that I said last week with regards to Sloaney and Ramsey. The competition's bringing out the best in those two. Exactly what you talked about with, I think you mentioned it with Ramsey just being a competitor and Griffin. Oh, it might have been Normie telling me. Actually, Normie was telling me the reason he loves fucking Cody Ramsey so much because Cody Ramsey plays, the way that he plays, he trains like that. So he brings up the tempo and he gets everyone like, he does everything 100 miles an hour.
That's annoying sometimes when you're playing, no way.
Yeah, it can be annoying, especially if you're a vet and cunts carrying on too much.
He's chopping your knees.
But if you're Tyrell Sloan and you're looking at Cody Ramsey, Sloaney's going, fuck, what do I got to do to top this guy? And it's obviously working for them at the moment. I love their fucking centre combination. I think one of your concerns was the middles. Ice and
I kind of take that back. Eh?
Yeah,
They look all right.
Yeah, I agreed with you on that point. But one thing that stood out for me now, so if you look at their lineup, I still like Jackie Bird was on the left edge. I like Tarek to come back to that edge. I'd like Jackie Bird to go to the middle. And I think they've got their difference makers in Georgie Burgess looked nice enough in his first couple of trials back. The way he's carrying the ball, he's going to be that big body that's going to be annoying for him in attack. And the point of difference, a guy that we left out, Jack DeBellin. I think last year, obviously coming back from a long period, he's a guy we didn't talk about for the Dragons. He can be their difference maker. You remember fucking 3 years ago, he's in the middle of the fucking
Chopping.
He's in the middle of the field, chopping on the field, and then he gets in, he sings the team song, and he gets everyone pumped up when they get their wins. You forget how much of an emotional leader he was because he was missing for so long. But I think with those two guys in particular, they can be their point of difference through the middle. And then the combination of the veteran halves with the young gun halves, and I'm still waiting for Bud Sullivan's obviously injured.
Yeah,
The competition that he's going to give Talatau as well when he gets back, I think obviously Talatau's locked down that 6th spot. Everyone can see that the first couple of games. But if you bring little Bud Sullivan playing in the 14 row and he's coming off the bench because he fucking brings energy as well. And if you're a Dragon supporter, it's pretty exciting. Like we said, even away from trials, Moses Sully, a couple of nice little touches. Yeah. You know why he gets those touches? Because you have to gravitate towards him because he'll run over your centre if you leave him one-on-one. So when that wing is jamming in and he's just tipping it on because he's got silky nice hands and Slowy's move, that move that Zach Lomax did.
Oh, that's elite.
That was wasted in trials. That needs to be.
No, he can do that again easily.
I hope we see it.
A few Dragon centers in the past that have moved like that too.
Yeah, they have. Yeah. He's followed some of the greats. Yeah. But I feel like it's got an asterisk next to its name because it was in a trial. If that was in NRL footage, that would be shown over. Hopefully it does. Yeah. Because it was fucking
That's
elite.
got to make the Fox promo.
And you know what? It was against starters as well. It was Alex Johnson, who's
Cody Walker as well. Yeah.
Hey, Cody Walker was on that edge. Alex Johnson's a good reader of defence. He come in. That I don't know. That move for me.
Pretty, bro.
That move for me was as pretty as it gets for an NRL move. So
there's nothing like a centre in the Dragons uniform that's elite. I think I'm still caught up in Gaznia.
Gaznia and Coops, bro, would like. I think we all grew up loving them, even if you didn't support the Dragons. Yeah. So. He's another guy. He's a guy. When they got injured, they were flowing before he got injured. They had a nice little combination.
Do you know what the young core reminds me of? Tigers back in the day, like when Mitch Moses, Brooks, Tedesco come through, and then Penrith had their little core, and they're all in really pivotal positions as well. So you might not see the best out of them this year, in my opinion. You might, but
3 to 5 year away. Yeah.
3 years from now, I think Dragons start looking really.
You know what they're doing with this young core and playing as well. They're setting up for recruiting in the next couple of years. If you're off contract going into this preseason, I wouldn't have touched the Dragons. Like I wouldn't have, if they were looking for I'm not saying they'd be looking for a player like me, but if I was off contract, if I'm going into next season just off the signs that I'm seeing originally, I wouldn't mind fucking signing down the gong, living in Cronulla. Not the worst.
That's too far.
What about South Scope? Any concerns at the moment for South Sydney, or are you not putting too much weight on the Charity Shield for them?
Not too much with Souths again. When some of the better teams, like I said, they're happy to get through unscathed. I know Latrell's going to come back. I'm interested to see what happens. There's been chats and we mentioned it early on the YKTR Sports Show. Does fucking Troll end up playing 6? I said it early, but we'll see what happens. Because I like Blake Taft. He's a gun. It's less of a knock on Lockie Elias.
I think it's Ilias.
Ilias.
Yes.
But I just like Blake Taff. I love the way he brings the ball back. He just catches it, and he's at the defensive line in fucking less than a second.
Giving you the Nathan Gardner vibes from back in the day from Cronulla.
Yeah, got a bit of guards about him.
Is Dylan Edwards either
He's
way?
got a bit of Lockie Coote. Got a bit of Lockie Coote about him too.
Just well balanced there when they step.
Lockie Coote was small, but he never really got bum rushed back because he would like quickly get back at you, and then by the time you're like trying to set yourself, he might have just ducked into a hole.
Yeah,
Blake Taff is a little bit the same. So, for me, I don't know. It's up to Latrell really. I dare say Latrell would have probably final say, like going to the coaches, going, you know, if the coach comes and say this is the best thing for the team, I think you can play 6 and Cody at 7. What are you thinking? Be up to him if he wanted to do it. I
reckon Souths make top 4, eh?
Yeah,
I reckon they're like 7-ish.
Yeah,
I reckon.
So you
You keeping receipts?
Yeah, well, I've got to do this. Is
Scopes.
We're not afraid.
Bible,
We're not afraid to change our mind around here.
So I get bagged for having the notepad, but when you got the notepad, you got receipts, right? So I've gone back here. Scopes tears me. Yeah, they're in there. Souths are out of the top 4. Thanks for coming.
Love that. All right, moving on. Oh, before we do that, we want to take a quick moment to remind you that the YKTR Sports Show is brought to you by Manscaped, of course. Head to manscaped.com.au. Big supporters of the show for a reason. We fuck with it. We love it. You can use promo code ICE or SCOPE, SCOPE. Get 20% off plus free shipping and cop the ultimate premium collection, which Scope you got your hands on yesterday. A little shower kit there.
Hey, a little bit of deodorant. I left mine at home yesterday. So shout out to the Manscaped people. Got to I was smelling like Caleb there for a little bit. Once I dabbed up, I was feeling. You feel like a man. Like it's in the name, Manscaped. Like when I chucked it on, I was like, ooh.
Shampoo, conditioner.
It's not that Kitty's Lynx Africa and shit. Like, it's fucking Manscaped,
If you're
baby.
sick of smelling like Lynx Africa, head to manscaped.com.au, chuck in promo code ICE or SCOPE, whatever you like, gets you 20% off plus free shipping.
Yep.
Okay, boys, we are back. It's time for the set of 6. So to give you guys a bit of context, this is almost our futures for the year. Obviously, we're rolling into round 1 coming up. So we've gone with, shall I run through the categories before we rip straight into them?
These are basically just our guys that we're fucking with for the whole year. So once we pick these guys, we can't really change. So obviously there's benefits if you're in my team as well. Free YKTR clothes. Shout out to the boys. But yeah.
I actually handle the back end orders, so same with my team. Free orders. He doesn't have to know about that. So
make sure we finish just with a couple of notes of the Tigers game. I want to talk about the Tigers. Do we want to address the Tigers just quickly?
Yeah, get the Tigers.
Go and talk about
the Tigers.
Get it out of the way. Go on, Scope.
Jackson Hastings.
You were bagging him too.
He's a lemon. I'm standing by that. He's a lemon. But what he does is he energizes this Tigers team. I don't care about that. But he's a fucking solid footy player, and he's proven it at the last couple of Cubs. I've watched him from afar. What he does is he's just ultra fucking competitive, and he brought that out in the Tigers. And I was again once a trial. A couple of other players that really stood out. Luciano's had a really good preseason.
Yeah, that's nice, bro.
But he's one of the more fucking slept on back rows. Like he is fighting through contact every carry. My guy Stefano, they've got a pillar. Like they've got. You know, if you can start building out this Tigers team, they've got Uppy on the coming next year. They've got Isaiah Papali'i coming as well next year. If they sort out the outside backs, I think they can get a little bit of help there. But just the Tigers, like with Hastings, just look like they're. We talk about the Bulldogs; they're rudderless. Jackson Hastings well and truly took control of that team. So I just wanted to give him a shout out for that, even though I think he's a lemon.
No, I agree with you, Scott. I thought he was really good.
He's a lemon?
No, I don't agree with that because I don't know him. So I thought he was good. I thought Luke Brooks was stood out as well. Like his running game, I think he had like 8 carries within the game, and they all look like really good running. And I've always said Luke Brooks is a really quality football player. I just don't think he's the guy when shit gets fucking hectic and the pressure's on. Like you don't fall back on him, but he's still going to give you some elite numbers across multiple different areas of the game. But I like Jackson Hastings because much like your Nico Hines, he's got things that's happening in and around him. Like he's organised and might not always be the best shape, but it's something. Like he's not always throwing the $1 million question, but he's not throwing the fucking $0 question as well. So I hope Jackson Hastings has a great, he looked balanced. There was a time where someone had a chop at his knees and like back in the past that could have thrown him off.
Yeah, I agree.
But that's dangerous. Like that's fucking kind of a little
Lindsay
bit.
Collins.
Lindsay Collins is a little bit grubby and he's my boy, he's my prop from the Roosters. But back in the day, that could have like sort of tipped him over the edge, and he starts doing stupid shit and trying to fight people. He just looked like nice and mature. He looked like a really good first grader. He's one man of steel, bro. He's
he's a good player. Yeah.
He's not a bum.
Just speaking of the Roosters, quickly before we move on, shout out to Robbo extending as well. So there you go. 2025, I think it is, or 2026.
Yeah, congratulations, Tigers. You beat the Roosters under 23s.
Yeah, well done. So you're probably taking Jackson Hastings with your first pick, Scope, given that soliloquy there. But this is our first overall pick. This is the guy that you're going to ride with all year.
Run through the...
So we're going first overall pick. We're going our sentimentals. The guys that mean a little bit something to us. Mudders, of course, Scope. An honour to you in the Great Mudders FC. Bloat, Rookie Watch, and Underrated before we get into our futures for the comp. So let's start with first overall pick. Justin, the Scope Horror. Where are you going, man?
No fucking surprises here. Cam the Prez Munster. He's my fucking guy. He's off the piss. He's off the punt because I know we don't chat as much on the weekends. But he is looking fucking grouse. He's in good nick. I love fullback Prez too, man. I don't know if you see my Instagram story.
When he footballer,
different. When he starts floating around, you can plug. You talk about positionless players. Like you can plug and play. He'll do a job in the front row. The Prez. Everyone knows that there's an affection between us two. So number one, Prez. Lock me in.
Love it. I've already just changed right then. Go on.
First round draft pick for me, my boy, Brandon Hectic Cheese Smith.
Of course.
Obviously, I look at football through a different lens as well, and I love a little bit of business as well. So the reason we got him on at YKTR Sports, because I think he's one of the most marketable guys in the game. I think he's one of the most characteristic guys in the game, and one of the most toughest cunts in the game as well. So I love him. Hectic Cheese, number one. What's up, baby?
What's up? And I am the host, but I'm going to join in here, Scope, just because I like to be a part of the team.
Yeah,
so
no fucking oath. I thought you were in all.
Oh, there you go. My first overall pick. Speaking of marketing, speaking of good-looking cunts, speaking of out-and-out footballers, Sean Johnson back in the only colours that he should ever fucking win.
Yeah, nice.
Sean Johnson is my number one overall. He'll be running out there round one and putting a lick on the Dragons. So Sean Johnson, Reece Walsh is going to be fucking beautiful to watch.
Bro. That's a good game.
Not to make fun of the situation that's happening in the floods up there, but like that's a typical thing to happen to the Warriors. Flood and miss in the last trial. That's a massive concern but it's a disadvantage for the Warriors and Titans. That's when we're talking about how trials don't matter, but for some teams it does. I think it does matter for the Warriors and the Titans, who got a few new combinations. In particular, I would have liked to have seen the Titans combination again together.
Yeah. I think it affects the Titans more than the Warriors because obviously Sean plugs straight back into.
And respectfully, I think Titans are a bit a bigger chance, and got higher expectations than what the Warriors do.
I don't take that as respectfully, but all right, sentimental. So where are we going here, Scope, for you?
Well, it wouldn't be a podcast if I didn't mention Manly properly, and we didn't get to chat about the game. So, my mate Fozzie, he got me an extra 2 years at the Bird game.
Fucking own.
Hey, mate, I owe the 2014-15 seasons to Fozzie, so there's no way I'm ever going to turn. It's hard sometimes when we start talking about Munster and Fozzie. I don't know who I got on top, because post footy it's Munster. He's looked after me. He's helped my podcast come through, but Fozzie was the guy who helped my career. So. Yeah. Kieran Foran, baby. Come on.
Love that.
And he's looking good too, by the way.
I almost took him number one.
Not even by a side. He looks fit. I know me and him had a beer in the off-season. He talked about how refocused he is. Because when he was going into this season, there was a quote that came out where he was just like, he wanted to finish off well. Now he's not. His mindset's changed. He's not finished. He's not thinking about finishing. He's like, all right, where can I fucking go if it's not Manly? Because obviously you talked about it with their salary cap issues. Ideally, he'd like to stay at Manly, but if that's not the case, where can I progress my career? And I love that for him, because considering where he was, he's a bit like Jack Bird. We talked about Jack Bird had a rough. I feel like them two went through the same rough period, and now they're both coming out of it, which is good.
We didn't really touch on Jack Bird when we spoke about the Dragons, but he was awesome in that charity shield. Yeah. He was fucking doing the old bumper bars.
He always
just bounces. He looks like a.
I want to know what the number is to keep Jack Bird. It must be crazy big, because. Yeah. If he's around the 500 mark,
paying him,
you get that done every day of the week, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
He can play centre
twice on the weekend.
Centre, 6, middle, edge back row.
Yeah. The way you get paid good money is if you can affect the result of a game in a positive way, and he can.
He can, for sure.
And the way you affect the results is points.
Yeah.
Like attacking players always get paid more than defensive players. It's just the way it is. You need points on to fucking win.
And legitimately,
he can fucking win you a game.
Throw the 1-17 jersey on him, he does a job. So
agree.
Yeah, we love him. Sentimental Ice, where are you going?
Back to my hometown.
Toke's finest.
Best centre in the comp. Best looking dude. One of the best looking dudes in the comp as well. Joey Manu. Roosters. One of the big reasons why I've come over. Sentimental. Cook Islander from my hometown. We talked about Zachy Lomax and how he done that in a trial. Joey could do this in a GF. Joey could do that in a GF and make it look better.
Yeah. Love that.
And better.
And we've now gone 3 Kiwis and 1 Aussie, so I'll make it 5 Kiwis. Brandon Hamlin-Ueli. That's a West Auckland kid.
Oh,
you
yeah.
like to see boys from your area make it, you know what I mean?
I like that.
And I'm high on the Sharks this year, so Brandon Hamlin-Ueli, shout out Glen Ora Bears. He's one of the best, Brandon, and loves a meaty
Who
too.
did he absolutely rissole on the weekend? Some poor outside back tried to take a carry coming out
Yeah.
and Hamulawali got him timed it to perfection.
Yeah, one of the doggies. Yeah.
What's his story? Was he come through the Warriors and not made it? Or
I honestly don't know. He kind of burst on the scene at Cronulla. He was he wasn't like he came through. He was a little bit behind me. I think he's 2 years younger than me, but there was no reps on him. Like respectfully, Brendan, like club, school, and that he was just a big
He'll
bopper.
be off you now. You've
Yeah,
lost
a
him.
big bopper. He didn't have much about him, but
a big Islander from West
yeah,
Auckland.
he was just respectfully, but yeah, he's kicked on. So that's my sentimental.
What
Every
school
time
did
I
he
see
go
him
to?
run out, I think he's
Kelston?
Avondale College boy for a brief bit, and then I don't know where he ended up, but yeah, Brandon Hamlin-Ueli, that's my sentimental. He always does something for me when I see him run out.
8-8, Dale State.
8-8, baby. Let's go Mutters Scope. This is your category.
We
is
say this
your guy.
respectfully too.
Oh, this is
This is
the
hard for
ultimate
me.
respect,
This is
yeah.
hard for me. So as being the coach of Mutters United, I don't like to show favouritism, right?
Yeah, of course.
The boys look up to me to lead and have picked no favourites. And I did look at the first name I got written down. Whittamoo Greg. But I need Whittamoo to be fucking getting some more minutes for me. You
don't walk into that side.
Yeah, you don't walk into that 17. I need to see it throughout the season. I might be able to select him next year. But my son, Petty Hiku,
Yeah.
I wanted to chat a little bit about the Cowboys, who have had a really good preseason.
They won the preseason, top of the table.
Yeah, top of the table. They've done
Tommy
really well.
did and looking the goods, bro.
And yeah, let's touch a little bit on the Cowboys quickly on this. I thought Pat and Val just having 2 experienced guys on the edges really stiffen them up on both sides. The style of footy that the Broncos were trying to play in the rain wasn't working. Whereas the situation in the halves, how is Scott Drinkwater not making their...
I don't know if he makes their 17 round one. I don't know where... Based on
Every
which
time I
team they
watch
ran
Tom
out-
Dearden, we talked about this.
Yeah.
He impresses me more and more every time. I feel like I thought the competition would be between Dearden and Chad Townsend.
Oh, so did I.
But I thought Chad Townsend would clearly win it out because they paid
big money.
money to get him up. So I thought it was going to be Chad Townsend and Scott Drinkwater. To be fair, I haven't put too much into the Cowboys of late because they just haven't been really that relevant. But a couple of really good trial games, and I thought, what do you got to smoke about? You got something to say?
Scotty Drinkwater, Redcliffe. That's the vibe I'm getting, bro. That's the vibe I'm getting.
Doesn't have to move too far either.
I'd pick him up straight away, bro. He's elite.
Yeah, well, for me, Scott Drinkwater would be, I don't know, we'll have to go through the list. And next time I'll come, I'll think about where I'd rank Scott Drinkwater in sixes. Not only fucking, he's for me, he's the best half in the, he's a 6, he's an for me, he's an out and out 6 compared to 7. But if I was looking at those 3 on the team list before I'd go, all right,
First cab
Scott
off the
Drinkwater's
rank.
in, and who do I pair with him? But I don't know. Am I? Sometimes when
Do you know when a
something
coach is
seems
off
something seems so obvious, is he defensively that bad that I'm not things I'm not seeing? Because I haven't noticed
Hasn't
it before.
stood out, no.
Yeah, I haven't noticed it before, and I know. This is respectfully to the other boys, and I'm not trying to knock the other boys, but like they're not the fucking top shelf defenders either, are they? Like,
Dearden has a crack.
Chatty,
but
yeah. They both put their body in front, and I love that. Little Dearden was
He flies out.
He gets amongst it, and I think that's one thing that maybe sometimes they're intangibles that you don't see that at training. You know, does he bring that energy all the time? You talk, look, guys question Cody Ramsey, but Cody Ramsey trains like that all the time. Coaches love that shit, so that matters. But
Yeah.
if I'm Drinky.
Redcliffe.
Yeah, I just want to play footy.
Yeah.
He's good enough to be playing footy week to week for me. I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something, but
Just on your mutters before we move off the Cowboys, you've gone with Peter Hiku, great pick.
Yep.
The Peter Hiku effect, Kyle Felt could fuck around and lead try scorers this year.
Yeah,
as well.
Yes.
100%, bro.
Wherever- that's a
Jamie
great-
Lyon had that, and Peter Hiku's not far off. Like, I'm not saying he's the same as Jamie Lyon, but he's got the ability to set people up.
Whoever
Dean
plays
Fladden was
outside
another
him
guy
scores a fuckload of
scores
tries,
So.
You know the sign of a true Mutters as well? When you go up to Cowboys and you don't lose it. When you go to Townsville, and this is why I love him, he's still on the fanner. He's still smacking the chips with chicken. So good on you. Good on you,
Yeah.
Pat. That's my boy. I taught him well.
Where are you going with your mutters pick, Isaac?
Mutters
So
pick,
we're
I am going.
Kiwis.
He could have been
predominantly
underrated as
Kiwis.
well.
You know what? There
Kenny
needs to be more
Bromwich.
Kiwis to pick.
Um,
Fox
one of my
Sports is
favourite
on
back
there. Benji's
rowers.
on
When you
there.
look at him in terms of
Channel
like
9, is
physical
there any
presence,
Kiwis
he's
on
got
there?
Corey
For the
Parker
Yamakee.
back.
This is-
He's so
Tom
effective. He'll
Malolo's
run a tough
track,
line for you.
yeah. So
You
if
can
you
run
get
shape
in
off
the
him, give him
comments
early
and
ball.
you're
He can strip
bagging
you
us for
3-on-2
Ben
as
Bromwich,
well.
we fucking
Just a
are. We're
fucking
waving the
great
flag
guy.
for the
He's
Kiwis
a
and
bit of
the,
tough guy in my 6.
in the island.
And they don't come tougher from Rewa.
How biased are we? They're all they're all Kiwis. You see, we're predominantly Kiwi. You know what? There needs to be more Kiwi shit. Fox Sports, there's not like Benji's on there. Channel 9, is there any Kiwis?
You got Corey Parker bagging Tomalolo's contract.
Yeah. So if you get in the comments and you're bagging us for being predominantly Kiwi, we fucking are. We're waving the flag for the Kiwis and the Islanders.
I'm about to wave an Indigenous flag though for my
I love
Mutters.
it.
I'm going the one and only. He's no longer slept on. He's on everyone's radar for the right reason. Josh Mutters Curran.
Oh, I love
He's
it.
extended through to 2024 with the Mighty Warriors
great pick.
too. So Joshy Curran well and truly established himself now as a legit starting 13 in NRL. And I think he's going to have a big year.
He's good.
And he's not afraid. He's another one who, despite the big contract and all the new lights on him, he ain't losing it. He's staying heavy. He's staying thick through
They're
the
the
hip.
best. They're the best ones.
Yeah.
And just want to touch on your selection as well. Kenny was part of my leadership group last year for the Mutters United. So great pick from you.
So there we go, Mutters Curran. All right, bloat. So best looking. This is an easy one. Scope. We're basing this a lot off popular opinion, but where are you going for the bloat?
Yeah, he plays for Queensland and Australia, but he's a New Zealand Māori. Kalen Ponga.
Yeah,
I'd like to select Kalen Ponga number one. I think for the. Did he get it again this year? Back to back roasty.
No, he got roasty number one.
Roasty's number one. Yeah.
And he was starting for the Bloat FC. Obviously, he was a fullback for Kempy's team.
Does Reece Walsh get him based purely off looks? Are they doing bloat this year?
Yeah, they would be.
Yeah,
they would be.
Well, I've actually selected Reece Walsh, so I'll jump in before you there. Reece Walsh, he's the golden boy. He's the face of my club. He's soon to be the face of the NRL, and hopefully not the face of Redcliffe. So Reece Walsh is my bloke this year.
Jordan Ricky, you're my boy.
Oh,
you know I love you. You're glamour.
Yeah,
big jaw, good looking cunt. Should have been higher on the roasty top 100. So
I agree on that. Yeah,
was he top 10?
He was number 6, I think.
6 or 7, yeah.
I voted for him. I jumped on and voted. Yeah, fucking oath. YKTR Sports, Jordan Ricky, number 1.
I can't get you to reply to an email, but you're voting for Ricky.
Welcome to the merch club.
Yeah.
Out of any of the boys at YKTR Sports, me, you, Chico, Normie's made it.
Normie,
would we have made the roasty top 100 in our day?
No chance, no. Well, you might have. Back in the day.
Penrith Chico was different.
Penrith Chico,
Penrith Chico was different. I'd
say
Chico thinks he'd be top 10. That's the fucking difference.
I reckon 2011 scope when Mooks and Brad Arthur come and got me from $1.02 to 95. 95 are the best.
Did not have a square face.
Oh mate, that's when when the cheeks went in. I was the opposite of Pet Hiku. I somehow managed to lose some weight.
I tell you what, if Roasty ever extends it to Super League, Euroscope would have pissed in.
Yes.
Yeah. Euroscope
would have pissed in.
Yeah. Euroscope with the Catalans
little South of France top knot.
Yeah, and the top knot.
Yeah, that was a vibe.
Remember you posted that? I was like, fuck, if you don't get a root off this, you're not having it. I remember that photo, right? Yeah, maybe Scope.
Yeah, I copied the Frenchies when I went over there. I was like, well, as soon as I seen the Mo, the fucking goatee, I said, I can fucking
bit of red wine.
I can grow
darts.
that. Yeah, fucking baguette. This is before vape, so I was on the Steph Currys back in those days.
Doesn't cigarettes like yuck now? Like it just looks yuck?
They're
still a vibe.
They're expensive and they're a fuck around.
They're not a vibe.
Still a vibe. I wish I smoked. I wish I was hard enough to do that.
Yeah, and just like if you see a glamour going out having a dart and you come out.
Yeah,
just give it those
100%. All right, time for Rookie Watch. So this is the young gun that we'll be rolling with all year. Before we move on to underrated scope, Rookie Watch is tough because we've gone with the whole
traditional
NRL. So
so if they're going to win
Rookie
of the Year.
Yeah, so which is sub 6 games, which is hard to do.
Yep.
Where are you going?
Xavier Savage. We didn't get a chance. Another game we just missed a little bit. Touch on him.
He's marketable.
Yeah, he's a vibe. He's a vibe, man. He moves around nicely. I think he's got a fucking massive future. I think Sticks has talked about that. Were you telling me, Jacko, that he's not necessarily been given the one jersey or not?
No, I think chances getting the one.
Stickers come out and said that he's going to ease him in. Yeah.
I don't mind it. Obviously, it's the thought process makes sense, but Xavier Savage is the future. And, if they're rolling at the back end of the season and Xavier's had a full season, I think that'll suit him better. The Canberra Raiders in the back end, but we'll see what happens.
Chance is still good, bro.
Chansy's a gun, bro. Like, for me, Chansy's left centre. Though I seen Tomoko was playing left centre for him on the weekend.
They moved him to the right as well.
Buller on the right edge.
Yeah.
He had a bit of a rough day.
He did.
He's running out. He's running into the sideline. So I'd chuck Tomoko back over to the right. Chansey left centre. Xavier Savage, so he can win Rookie of the Year.
Where do you find Jared Croker?
Croaks was on the bench, man, for him.
Yeah.
He was another player, bro. I think Croaks got fuck all time as well. Let me have a quick look.
No, he did, but my understanding was that was easing him back in off the injury.
Okay.
Is it his foot? It was his foot or his knee last year, but Xavier
Savage, he
played
played the week before.
Yeah, my understanding post-game was that Ricky was saying he was monitoring his minutes, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think he's getting smoked out. He's the captain of the club.
No, not smoked out. I think he just might be, you know what?
Struggling to find his way in.
Yeah, he might struggle to find his way in, and he seems to be that fucking good of a bloke that he'll happy.
Yeah.
You know, if the team's fallen, he won't have an ego about it. He might come in and play when a few guys go down to bring. I don't know.
That hurts.
Yeah, it's a tough one for him, bro. Like it's
I still think he starts at 7.
My heart just dropped just hearing that because he's just been like the staple of
it. Yeah.
Canberra for so long, bro.
yeah.
What about you, Ice? Rookie watch.
Rookie watch, the guy off the stay doozy on his bicep, can't look past that. Toby Sexton, up and coming half. Welcome to the club.
Yep.
Merch deal coming your way, bro.
Ooh.
YKTR. Are you going to be giving out some rinse juice, T?
Yeah, so he hit me up. He was looking.
Don't
for
worry
the
about
website.
Skype. You don't go to the assistant coach. Go to the coach when he was coming straight to the top, bro.
Yeah.
Welcome to YKTR.
Or come to the media manager and I'll facilitate.
No. Here's the thing: you'll love him even more because he's a genuine buyer. So what he did, he went on the YKTR site and he was looking for rent stew. He's like, "Oh, bro, I can't find your rent stew anywhere." I said, "Oh, we got our own new website now, so you got to go
Don't
to
worry about the
YKTR
scope.
Sports."
Don't worry about the scope. You with me now, bro. Let's go.
All right, but he wanted rent stew first. So he didn't come asking you for YKTR.
You got the good stuff.
He wanted Tobes. I got your bread.
You got the good stuff coming
Let me
through,
speak
don't
to Jacko and Tash. I'll get a
There you
second.
go. I've gone a little bit, not vibey. You called me vibey for doing this, but I've gone with Jari Momosia. I mentioned him last week. So he got 3 of the best last year for Newcastle. He's out of the Melbourne Storm system. Big body, big athletic thing. He's had a mad trial series. I just love him. He's a Kiwi kid, but he's out of the Melbourne Storm system. I think Jari Momosia is going to have a big year. Rookie of the year might be a stretch because he's going to be a middle forward. He might play a little bit of edge, be tough. But I think in that pack, I think the Newcastle pack's going to do pretty well this year. I like the look of them. I think Jari Momosia finds his way in there. I'm high on him. Big athletic thing. I like him a lot. Underrated.
What'd you say? Newcastle's going to go good this year?
No, I think their pack will. I like their pack. Yeah.
All right, cool. Take.
Go on.
Rest in peace to the Knights forward pack after that call. And there's nothing to do with the forward pack.
I can't wait till Jari Momosia is a household name.
That's just what happens when Jacko puts his name to something. But
He just writes down random takes and goes like that, and they're like, "Oh, what am I going to say to that?" All right, let me just say this.
You got a timestamp there, Lukey, for
up
that
and
one?
coming Newcastle Knights forward. Yeah, let's go with that. Fuck it.
One of his greatest
That's
takes.
so disrespectful. Jari, I'm so sorry, brother. You don't deserve that.
Oh,
You don't deserve it.
No,
That's
no,
my
no,
point.
no. Keep
You
that
don't deserve
energy.
it.
Yeah.
You don't deserve it. That's my point.
Put the
It's
hex
nothing
on
on you. It's Jacko. Oh, all right, boys. This is a bit of a controversial one for, I don't know, I tried to explain it to you guys before. Mine's Joseph Tarpany because I don't believe...
One of the best forwards in the game, underrated.
I don't
Cool.
think he is regarded as one of the best front rowers in the game. I don't think he's even regarded as the best front rower at his club. But I think he's going to win.
Because you got Josh Papali'i there.
Exactly. So that's my point. I think he's one of the guys that we're pretty high on him, but I don't think across the board you don't hear his name too much. I think he could win Dally M Prop of the Year just off the back of the way he started this year, the way he ended last year, started the year, Indigenous All-Stars game. Every time I watch him play, I love just watching him play. I'm just a fan of him, and I don't think he gets enough raps. So there's so many guys you can put in this underrated.
I love the other. This is my favourite category.
You can't be wrong.
I
Really.
changed about 5 or 6 times.
Who's the other ones go?
Peter Hiku, who I found a spot for in the Mudders. Kenny Bromwich was one of your guys. I think Kenny slept on in the Melbourne system. Bro, there's you could go on, you could pick 3 or 4 guys in every team. Jared Croker was that for Canberra Raiders for a long period of time. There's heaps.
I even think Zachy Lomax sort of falls into that. I know everyone's hyped on him, but because the New South Wales centres are cemented.
What are you watching?
You don't think Zach Lomax is underrated?
Zach Lomax is not underrated, bro.
You just said Joey Manu can do what he can do in a GF.
Yeah, he can. But it's Joey Manu, Zach Lomax.
Where do you put Turbo, Latrell?
Zach Lomax, yeah, but they're fullbacks. They just play Origin at
The reason I'm saying, hear me out. The reason I'm saying he's underrated,
Zach
you'll never
Lomax
see him,
is not underrated,
but
bro.
you'll never see him perform at that next level in terms of Origin and Australia because of the boys ahead of him, right?
Yeah, but that's not underrated.
But you can only be rated as a superstar if you perform on the highest stage, and he's never going to get to do that as long as Turbo and
No,
Latrell
do you know
do.
what underrated is? It's pay packet, in my opinion.
Okay.
I think those guys are paid both handsomely and they do a good job for what they do. I don't think they're underrated.
I say underrated for people that don't get raps that they deserve. That's my one. But
I say underrated because he's sitting behind 2 guys that are better than him, and he's still a star. That's why I think he's underrated.
I had Zachy Lomax before he went down last year to play centre with Turbo on the wing. I love these takes. This is that first things first. It's getting a bit emotional here.
I can't wait to hear what you're going with underrated.
I thought this was
You
supposed
already
to.
know, you got my notes.
go on.
I thought this was supposed to be me and Ice going in against each other in this form of the show, but it ends up being Jacko. We're coming after you, and I think there's
I can
some
cop it.
stuff.
It's all right.
Yeah, there's some stuff in the comments.
Shout out Jari Momosia. Go on, where are you going? Underrated.
Underrated, Lukey Garner from the fucking West Tigers.
Yeah,
runs
damn
a
it.
tough line. Never gets talked about. He's a fucking gun. Welcome to the club. Merch coming your way soon.
Oh,
Yeah.
everyone's fucking getting merch now.
That's annoying.
No, if
Everyone
you're-
on your list? Everyone on your list?
Everyone on, if you're on my list, you're in. You got merch. Hector Cheese already lined up. Joe Money already gets it. Kenny Bromwich, welcome to the club. Blade FC, Jordan Ricky, he gets it. Toby Sexton, get you some hoodies up there on the Goldie. Going up to Burley Pav and a bit of YKTR. Be pulling if you're not already got a girlfriend. Lukey Garner, welcome to the club.
Yes, see, I wish
Congrats.
I wish I could go back at you as disrespectful as you did to me, but I love Lukey Gardner, so I'll leave you there. All right, time for some futures. This is where we picked the big three: Dally M, GF winner, and our Smokey. Without further ado, Scope.
Underrated centre of all time, Jackson. Mark Asnier.
Underrated centre of all time, Jerome Roparty. We know that.
That's a good pick.
Thank you.
That's a good pick. Jerome Roparty was
Thank
nice, man. There was a few Warriors.
You
centres
can't
that
hang
were
with
nice.
that in and away, bar.
Yeah.
It was nice, eh?
It was.
Underrated halfback of all time,
Isaac John, you know that already.
Andrew Johns. give us a guru.
Okay. Yeah.
Kangaroo. Shout out guru.
Shout out Guru. Should we start with Dally M, Scope? You want to kick us off?
Same pick, mate, as top. Going with Cam Munster on this one, based off no sentimental value. I just think he's fucking looking fit. He's going to pop up everywhere. Melbourne Storm is still going to be Melbourne Storm. They're going to win a few games. I think he might be. It's obviously the points, like
Yeah,
wrestling
the points
with
is
points.
weird, eh?
It's
Yeah.
tough, but Melbourne players have done it before in the past because guess what? Majority of the time, their players are winning 3 points. So lock me in for the Prez. Cam
Love
Munster.
Isaac John.
Nathan Cleary. I just think there's no really flaws in this game. If you think about Tommy, who's probably favourite to win it, like he just performed at such a high level. I think that's going to come down a little bit. He's still going to be elite, but I just think Nathan Cleary is just a lot more well-rounded. He can kick goals. I think he's the guy. And there's not too many guys that are going to take points off him. Like that's a big thing that we think about. But yeah, I think Nathan Cleary.
That was key. And like with Adam Reynolds leaving South, I'm going with Latrell. I think South will regress a little bit, but with no Adam Reynolds there, I think you're going to see Latrell step up. If he can stay on the field through injury, suspension, etc., I think Latrell's got a massive year, and that's my pick for Dally M. It's a little bit smoky, but I think he should be a top 5 consideration anyway. So I'll go with Latrell, Mitchell, and I'll be riding with him all year. Dally M, baby. Grand final
That's a good
winner.
pick, man.
All right, Scope. Who's winning the GF? Oh, you want to say something on
Are
Latrell?
they Dally in favour towards like fullbacks? Because I don't think fullbacks are not the best sides. I reckon they're the best chances, eh?
I feel like historically in the last 4 or 5 years, it seems to be more focused on that award. But
It was always halves. You always assumed it was going to be halves or Cameron Smith, but it was like
100%.
yeah, because I think when it's the way it's developed over the years is that
Rog
fullbacks
won it. They didn't even make the 8. Like
10 years ago,
Tedesco.
fullbacks probably didn't have the try assist that they would have had previous. But now the back end is shape. Billy Slater's ushered in the new form of fullback where he's doing that cutout to the wingers. So now not only do they have 10 to 15 tries, they've also got 15 to 20 try assists as well, which it's a stats game as well. All awards are stats game. You look at basketball, it's triple double because they fill the stat sheet. So if you're doing it all with yards, carries, also tries, try assists, it leans more towards fullbacks for me. Yeah.
shout out Josh Giddey, another triple double too, doing it.
He's elite.
He's going. All right, Scope. Who's winning? Who's winning it all? Remember, you got to stick with this all year. Who's winning the grand final, Scope?
Fucking Bird Gang, baby. You serious?
Stay consistent. I love it.
Hey, you think I was going to go something else? You think I was going to go anything else?
You're very pro Canberra lately, you know.
Well, yeah, we'll get to the next one. Manly, I just think this is it. They're building nicely. Got some nice youngsters coming through. I've still got a question mark.
9.
No, not too bad. I think Croaks can do a job if you got Fozzie,
Could see
Jakey
Chico, could see Chico
Travojevic.
there by the end of the year. You never know.
Yeah, true. Chico could get a run. Just the middle front row, like they're all bigger bodies.
Who are Sean Kepi? Like, there's not. Yeah.
Right.
Kepi, Paseka,
Paseka's good, bro.
Sips.
Yeah, he's good.
They're all good. They're just probably not as mobile as I'd like my middles in the modern day game. Put it that way. If they had more guys like, they probably needed just another, not Jakey, because Jakey's the.
They kept Adden or someone like that.
Does Dylan Walk?
If Adden's playing at the fucking Bird Gang, we win the last 2 years. We would have won last year. I love Adden. Yeah, if we had Adden compared to someone else, we're a good chance. But Bird Gang still get the job done. This is the comp's up for grabs.
It is.
It is.
comp's up
It
for
is.
grabs this
Fucking
year, I
oath it is,
believe.
Yeah.
I'll get mine out of the way because everyone knows where I'm going. I've got to stick with them all year. I genuinely wanted to pick Parramatta because my mate's behind the camera there is on him, and I do love Parramatta this year. I'm going to go the Warriors, and I'm just putting all my eggs in that basket. So,
Okay, move on.
Yeah, carry on.
All right, for me, like
I know.
we're all following our teams, but for
Yeah.
me, like I generally see a Roosters Manly grand final.
So do I.
That's just the way I see it lining up. But the important part is if Kerry's got to be healthy.
Yep.
Like Kerry's got to be healthy. He's got to be running the team. I think Sam Walker rolls into a really good season. I think they got nice pieces. A couple older guys that are probably going to get not moved on, but like you got Jared and Takiaho, who are probably looking around and go, we haven't got too many right runs in the ball left for us. I think Angus Crichton becomes the leader in the back row. That's left by Bordy Cordner.
Yep.
I think they're shaping up well. Robbo's just re-signed for 5 more years, so he's building up nicely. I think they're a chance, bro, and I'd love to see the Roosters Manly grand final because it'll give post-traumatic stress disorder back to scope.
Forgive me for having a mind blank here. Who's going to be their starting hooker? Will it be Virals, or which way are they going to go at 9?
Yeah, I'll go Virals.
That's kind of the only position that's...
It's similar to Manly. Like they're sort of in a position where it's not someone that's super high elite, but their shape allows to sort of cover up their weakness because they both like to spread the ball and like got really good halves that can dominate and really good 13s that can push the play out. So you don't really need to be running an attack off the 9. You just need some tough cunt that can tackle and get the boys rolling forward. And then when Luke Keary calls the ball, you give it to him.
Roosters and Storm are adaptable where players believe in the system so much. So some games Connor Watson might start, I reckon.
Yeah.
You know, Robbo's that sort of coach. He's Robbo's ahead of the game. We realised matchups could matter. And then the boys won't have ego. Sam Verrills, Connor Watson, they won't matter if they're fucking 9, 14, 13. They'll do a job. Rads is obviously they're fucking starting 13 every day of the week. But
whenever you hear the Roosters talk and like from a Politis and all that, they always talk about like he's a good person. So that's a big part of their recruitment. Obviously, it's easy to recruit to the Roosters, go live in Bondi, have a chance at a premiership. But one thing they always talk about is like, oh, he's like a really good person. And when Chi signed at Mark Boris pre-podcast, I go, I'm pumped that we've got him here. And Mark said, like, he's good. First thing he said, he goes, he's a good person and that's important to us. Yeah. So that's an example of, you got guys that want to buy into the culture and systems, and
especially when you know it works, like you've seen it. It's worked previously
and recent history.
It's a little bit harder for them to implement that at some of the lower teams. Like,
Bulldogs are a prime example.
It's hard to revisit history from years ago. Their history is recent. Probably 1, 2 years, 3 years ago.
Working class Bondi. That's who we're playing for.
So there we go. Manly, Warriors, and Roosters. Those are our picks. Time for Smokey. We love a Smokey around here. Skip, someone who could fuck around and win it all. You like what you've seen from them, but aren't necessarily the red hot favourites at the moment. Who is your Smokey for the 2022 NRL Premiership, Skip?
I don't think they can win it all, but they're a team that I have in the 12 to 9 bracket, and we've talked a fair bit about them. I can see the Dragons sneaking into the top 6. Like, I can see them being a team that could play into a preliminary final, something like that, where I don't think a lot of teams would speak.
How Smokey?
Yeah, that's
I don't preface it well. They won't go to a GF.
But I don't think that they've got the quality to go all the way through, but
Come on, man.
You put Warriors at premiership, so fucking.
I've got to stay consistent, man. Come on.
If he said Smokey there, I would have loved that as Warriors. But
But Dragons. I think they can. I think they can sneak into the 8 based on what I've seen so far, and I like the look of their squad. So I wouldn't be surprised if they play a prelim final or at least the second weeks of finals for the Dragons. And I've got them at the moment, though. I've got them in my 12 to 9 bracket. So. I'm hedging my bets there.
We'll let you finish, so I'll just quickly jump in. My Smokey, I don't know. I said this off here. I don't know if it's a Smokey because I know people are high on them. I've gone Cronulla just because I think they're a Smokey to win it all. So I think Cronulla, I love what I've seen in the trials. I love the way they've recruited. I love that Nico Hines-Nakora combo. It's sort of just plugged straight in where SJ was. So I love that. I think if they can stay healthy, stay fit, and roll together, I think Cronulla could fuck around and win it all. So that's my Smokey.
That's a good one. First take of this shit. Like I bagged him out earlier. I just think Canberra, bro. Yeah. something about Canberra, and like me and Scope talk about this a lot. You need really good rookies that are paid on low contracts for a chance to win. And you look at someone like Manly, Cronulla back in the day when they had Jack Bird and Valentine Holmes that can perform and contribute to points. There's something about Canberra, and when I look at Jack Wyden, bro, he's such a good player. I think they're Tarpany and Josh Papali'i up there as well. They'll lead the front. They've got some really good tough back rowers. They just need to stay healthy. But man, I don't know. Just something's drawing me to Canberra.
Bro, what about how Jack White?
I don't like Canberra too, respectfully, but I just think there's something about Canberra.
Jack White, like he throws He throws the pick
Maloney effect.
initially to Sabi, and I think I believe he threw the pass that was
hit
dropped.
the ground, yeah.
That hit the deck, and
that was
Dill
Manly's
Walker
only
picked it
two.
up.
That was their two of their 3 tries.
Yeah, so they were under the pump, but that shows resolve as well. What I'm talking about with good teams, they know they can defend the line, hold on. The other team will make an error. I don't think with Canberra to show, no, it's only trial, but to show the bounce back, to fight back into it. In particular, Jack Whiten, who
Smokey.
Yeah, you fucking. That sort of shit can make you go, fuck, it's wet, it's cold, it's trials. I'm a fucking vet.
I'm off in 10.
I'm off. Like you could easily see a play like that just going, fuck, this is my day. But he fought his way back into it and shows the good signs for Jack Whiten.
Do you want to, that play when it hit the ground and Saab scooped it up and I forget who was in commentary, like, here comes Savage, and Savage started to really make up ground.
He looked
and you just
good,
see,
right?
Yeah, he did, and you just see Saab sort of do the shoulder one and just click it up again. He must be that fucking quick,
can we quickly talk? I want to give talk about this a little bit because they talked about Manly having 2 of the quickest in the competition. Yeah. If people were bagging Kohler for Sabi just strolling up next to him and how easily he did it, I dare say if Saab's got holding the ball, people don't realise how much it slows you down to have the footy in your hands, like just that control. You're not able to get the full emotion. Kohler would have done the same thing. If Sabi had a bit of a lead on him, Kohler would have just strolled up next to him as well. Yeah. Speeds, those 3 players, bro, they're so quick. Savage come across and...
he looked like he was making up ground. But
Savage was fucking hands and knees on the other side of the field, bro. And then he rolled over. Sabi gave him this one because as a bit of a giggle, but... Yeah. Man, I want to see that race because the amount of ground that Savage picked up to get to that point, to get a little fuck you. Man, I don't know if
fuck, I might try and put that race on this year, eh? Like
could do it, bro.
Get the 8 fastest, get it all fucking branded up. Be Fox, the Hammer from up there, those 2 boys. Who else would there be?
Yeah, Fox,
those 3.
Hammer, Savage, Saab.
Comment down below your fastest 8, just off opinion. We could go to the clubs. It'd be interesting.
Yeah, because I think Tolatu Kohler and Xavier Savage actually have 100-metre times recorded, and Kohler was like
slightly quicker
by a tenth of a second.
That's without calfskins. Savage and the calfskins.
That's on track. No, that's on track. Yeah. Xavier Savage with calfskins is a vibe, especially when imagine if you turn around and you just see the first thing I'm telling you, peripherals will pick up those calfskins, man. They're coming.
Is he the only one rocking calfskins at the moment? I can't think of anyone else who's like vibing them out.
You ever slip into a periscope?
Nah, they fall straight down there. Those bad boys.
Had the Gary Freeman socks on.
They're like these ones. They just sort of scrunch up like this and end up sitting there like that.
All right, that is the YKTR Sports Show for another week. That is our futures. Jump in the comments. Let us know what you think. And if the Warriors are going to win the grand final, jump in and support your boy, because I'm copping a hiding out here.
Look for that up-and-coming underrated player, Zaki Lomax. He's all right. See you later.